Hi, this is Brad with Baker County Trash Pickup. My wife and I have a weekly residential trash pickup business with around 250 clients. It's about 2 years old. We started when Waste Management left our rural Northeast Florida county. Today's video, not talking about our business so much, but your business. We are going to look at Jobber, which is software, business management software for weekly residential trash pickup companies, for disposal companies, for dumpster rental companies, for clean out and trash out companies. That's what we're focusing on. We are going to look at the free tools, completely free tools that Jobber offers. This is especially going to be good if you're thinking about starting out and you don't know where to begin. They have some free tools that could help you do most of the things you'll need to do in business. Then we're also going to take a look at their lowest cost tiered subscription to see if you really are strapped for cash, you're just starting out, what can 30 or 40 bucks a month get you? I will mention there is a link in the description of this video for a free 14-day trial of Jobber and then a discount after. Now, if I'm being completely honest, 14 days is probably not enough time to get a feel for everything. That's why I'd suggest you start with the free tools to get your feet wet. Then you can get into that trial. You're a little more knowledgeable. And then the paid portion of it will begin with a discount from the link down below. As we're going through this, if you have any questions, the easiest way to get a hold of me is sending me an email. That email will be in the description as well. The first thing we want to look at, though, are what free options we have. When it comes to any kind of business that you have today, I think it's safe to say the very first step is setting up an email. We're going to walk through that together. I could be doing something wrong, but when I tried to set up a business email through Google, which was indicated by me saying this is for a business, it looks like it wanted me to purchase some kind of add-ons, and I didn't see a way to opt out of that. Again, I could have just missed a button click somewhere, but this is what it looked like. If you want to avoid that, or if I'm right and you can't opt out of those business charges that they'll add on if you want an email for your business, just go back and say it's for personal use. If you do that, you can just type in your name, type in the email that you're going to use, which for the purposes of this demonstration, we're making up a company called Bear Disposal. That's my last name, Disposal. You can look into what is best to name your company. A lot of times using your personal name is not the best idea, but you know, it's your company. You can do whatever you want. But once we have our email set up, we can start taking advantage of some of the free tools Jobber has to offer. As a quick side note, once that email's done, another good thing to do would be to set up your Google My Business profile. This is going to be free. And this is a good tool, especially since you don't have a website yet. Jobber's cheapest plan that they offer builds you a website, which is pretty cool. But right now, we haven't got that far. So Google My Business is really nice because this will help Google populate your information when people are searching for your industry in your area. This is free. There's no reason not to have it. This will let you start getting Google reviews as well when you start servicing customers. So absolutely sign up for a Google My Business profile after you get your business email set up. When we look at these free tools, Jobber allows you to customize some of them with your logo if you have one. We're going to skip that because it requires you to log in, and I'm running under the assumption that if you're using these free tools, you don't want to log in, you don't want to sign in, you're just trying to get the tool as quickly and easily as possible, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. There's quite a few free tools they offer. I'm only going to focus on 4 of them because I think they're most relevant for the line of businesses that I'm talking to. The first one is their service proposal. This service proposal, I don't want to say it's unhelpful for our industry, but as you look through it, it's a very long, very detailed document. It is perfect for project work, right? So if you are a landscaper and you're doing if you're brand new, you're probably not doing a $10,000 project. But if you are doing a project where you've got a lot of parameters you want to get clear and straightened out and you want somebody's signature on something, this is the document you would use. For the industry that we're talking about today, I would think this would probably be if you were doing like a whole house clean out or something, like maybe you've got a realtor that you're working with and they say, hey, we just bought this property, we need it completely junked out so that we can start, tearing everything down and rehabbing it. That's probably when I would look at this service proposal, if you have a larger project in scope or a larger project in dollar size. If you're trying to get people to sign up for weekly trash pickup, I would not break this service proposal out. It's way too long for that, and it's going to turn a lot of people off if you're like, yeah, to pick up my trash, here's a 7-page document we've got to fill out together. But again, it's a good starting point for projects. And the next one that's going to be helpful for anybody is an estimate template. This is something that is really going to be helpful in our industry too, because we kind of do the same thing over and over. So if you have this template pre-filled with most of the common things, let's say you've got trash pickup, you've got dumpster rental, you've got dump fees. If those are the 3 most common things you're ever going to use, you can get this template saved on your desktop with those 3. And then when someone says, yeah, I need a dumpster rental, just open it up, save a new copy of it under their name, and then you can delete the stuff you don't need and you've got what you do need for them. This is something that if you send this to them rather than just an email or just a text message or just a Facebook message saying, yeah, it's 20 bucks a whatever, or $300 a week, or $40 a ton, whatever the quote is, if you send them this estimate form, it's going to give them something that they can look at that is official and has your information on it. If they're getting quotes and someone else doesn't do that, that may be enough to send them your way. But it does make you look more professional to have an estimate that you send out as a PDF rather than just any other communication method. Not that you can't get it done the other way, but again, our goal with Jobber software, with any software, is to try and make ourselves look as professional as possible, but also to save ourselves time. That's one of the big things to focus on with software, is that if you end up getting on a paid software, you have to make sure that whatever you're paying is worth the time you're saving. And as we go through Jobber's lowest cost plan, you're going to see, oh, absolutely it does. But on the higher tier ones, there are some features you might have to weigh. I'm not sure if that is worth it. A lot of it depends on your business, which unfortunately I won't know. But again, that's why I put my info in there too. If you've got questions, you can contact me directly through email. So that's that estimate template that should be helpful. If they approve this estimate and you do the job, the next thing you need to send them is an invoice for that job, which looks pretty similar to the estimate form. It's just that the work has been done now and this is what they owe you. You can see, just like the estimate form, they've got logic built in where if you're charging multiples of something, it does the math for you. If you've got a tax rate you've got to charge, it does the math for you. So it makes it very nice and easy and quick to get this invoice generated so that you can then send it to your customer. And then of course, what comes after the invoice? Well, hopefully they pay you, and then you can send them a receipt. So again, the receipt template works a little bit differently, but you can figure it out. And I believe this receipt also allows you to add your logo, again, if you have one, without logging in to the system. I think on the estimate and the invoice, you can also add your logo, but you have to log in for a free trial in order to do that. So whether or not you want to do that is up to you. But if we're just looking at free tools to get your business started, or if you haven't started but you're thinking of starting and you kind of want to get some resources to make it easier to hit the ground running, this is what I'd recommend. Get yourself a business email, get yourself a Google My Business listing, and then through Jobber, if you're looking at big projects, you can have this service proposal form ready for them. I don't know if that's going to be something that you'd be using right out of the gate, but the estimate, invoice, and receipt, those are like 3 critical pieces of getting someone as a customer, doing the work for them, and then getting paid for the customer. These 3 alone are definitely worth the price you pay, which again is nothing. So let's say that you have exceeded the usefulness of these free tools that Jobber offers, or you are willing to spend 30, 40 bucks a month. The pricing is going to vary depending on what promotions they run. The link in the description to get the 14-day free trial comes with, I think, like a 20% discount. Sometimes it goes up if they're running promotions, but a 20% discount if you are willing to agree to a full year of service. At least at the time of this filming, it's like $30 a month for the plan that we're going to go over. And for what it does, it is absolutely going to be worth, just trade eating out one time a month for this software, and you're going to get your money's worth because of the time it's saving you, and also because of all the benefits that come with this plan, which we'll start getting into now. Right now, we're focusing on Jobber's core plan. We're looking at around, let's just go higher and say $40 a month. This is a worst case scenario. It's less than this, but again, I don't know when you're watching this. Maybe in the future prices have gone up. And I'm even hesitant to add the pricing because I do know that pricing can change and sometimes it can date a video. But the thing is, whenever I see people commenting on software videos, the number one comment is they want to know how much it is. But I think you having this number, which again, it's going to be less than this if you're okay signing up for it for a year. If you don't want to sign up for it for a year, I think it's like $50 a month if you do month by month. So let's just use that as the number, because it's going to be the absolute worst case scenario. You don't get a discount and you're just paying by the month. You're still going to see that the things you get for this plan are worth it. The reason we're looking at this plan is it is their entry level and lowest cost, and I think it's going to be the best fit for a business that is just starting out, or even an established business that maybe you've been in business for a few years, but you don't have any software right now. We're going to go over the things in the core plan that are well going to be worth whatever you pay for it. The first thing that's pretty neat is that you get a free website with your core plan. So if you don't have a website yet and you're like, man, I don't know how I'm going to start this. I don't know anything about making websites. Jobber takes care of that for you with this core plan. It's going to ask us a little bit about our business. We type in a prompt and then it uses AI to, within just a couple minutes, spit out a website that has all the information we just talked about. It has different pages for the services we talked about. You have the ability to change the colors so that they match your brand. You have the ability to change the photographs, which I would strongly recommend. You don't want to start a website with just stock photos. Go out, take a picture of your truck, you in your uniform, you on the job site doing work. Use those pictures to replace the ones that they generate. And within maybe 20 minutes, you can have a website that comes completely included in the price that you pay for core. This to me is the biggest benefit, I should say one of the biggest benefits of getting software, even this entry-level one, is that if you can, with no experience, make a website, any website is better than no website. And this is a great way to get it done very quickly with very little effort on your part. Now that you've got your website up, it'll start prompting you to set up your first quote. Setting up your first quote means that you've got to load in some lines of service, some items that you offer. This is like when we were playing around with the estimate where we did junk hauling, dumpster rental, dump fees per ton, all the little things that you would add into a line item, you'll add in your services. And then when you go to make quotes, you'll start typing and they'll populate based on what you've done. The description will pre-fill, the cost will pre-fill. Just makes it a lot easier to get a quote sent out to somebody. Of course, we have to have somebody to send this quote to. It pulls out a random thing during this trial, so we're just going to use that address. But you associate this quote with that client. That client will have an email associated with their account that you can then use to email this quote out. Now, when that quote gets approved, we need to convert it into a job. There's a few different ways you can do this, but once we click Convert to Job, we scroll down and we see we have the option to make this a one-time job which is a project, one clean out, one dumpster rental, or we can set it up as a recurring job. This is picking up trash every week or every other week or once a month. We can have that job repeat on the calendar automatically without us having to fill each and every one. This is how I set up all the jobs for my business. We have weekly recurring jobs that repeat on Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on which day of the week we pick up that specific client's trash. So now that we have our job actually scheduled, and again, for the purposes of this video, we're just pretending it's a one-time cleanup, we can go in the schedule and mark that job as completed after it's done. From there, we have the option to close the job and invoice it now or later, or leave the job open, maybe if there's something else we have to remember to do. We're going to close the job and invoice it now, which is the next portion of the workflow. We want to send everybody an invoice so that we can get paid for the work that we did. This is another thing that I think is worth the money you will spend on this entry-level software, is the amount of time that you will save in trying to get paid. Because when it comes to onboarding customers, you have the ability to store a debit or credit or bank account on file before you do the work. So as soon as that job is done, if I already have their card information, I generate the invoice and then I collect payment for the invoice. At that point, it'll automatically send them a receipt. But if I don't have it automatically, then I will send it to the customer for them to pay on their end with bank account, credit, or debit card. And when they pay it, it will automatically generate that receipt for them as well. If you eliminate collecting payments from checks or cash, now you don't have to run to the bank anymore. So calculate the time that you'll save with that, the fuel that you will save with that. You will save the hassle of having to say, hey, Miss Johns, the check normally is under the mat and I didn't see it today. Oh, well, I put it behind the whatever. Okay, well, I'll have to get it next time. Or if it's a project, you've got to come back out. And there are a lot of hassles that go along with physical payments like check and cash. Our business, the only way we'll accept check is for an annual paid in full plan. So I'll deposit a check once a year for a client, but I won't do it every month. The only way we bill for monthly services is with a bank account or credit or debit card on file. With this core plan, you have the ability to do that all securely. It looks very professional for your customers. They get receipts emailed to them automatically. You have all this stuff logged in one central place. So the end of the year reporting, your estimated taxes, it's very easy to do because in one location, you have all the revenue that you generated. You can run a report and say, how much did I make in 2025? How much did I make in the first quarter of 2026? And all that information's at your fingertips. Time and headache are the main things that you're going to save, in my opinion, with software like Jobber, even on their entry-level plan. The amount of professionalism you will get, the amount of time savings you will get, the amount of not having to deal with things that you had to before that you will get from this small amount of money invested, I think it's well worth it. Whether or not it is up to you to decide. There's that link in the description for a 14-day free trial and then a discount after. If you're not interested in a long-term commitment, they do have month-to-month options. If you have questions on any of the stuff you've seen, please reach out to me directly. My email is in the description. It comes to me directly. There is, no middleman or anything. This business is just myself and my wife. So that way you can ask me something specific if what we went over here is leaving you with questions. There are so many more features in that core plan that we really didn't get to cover in today's video because this is just a very high-level overview. If you can make your business run smoother and easier with less input from you, that's going to have a direct impact on your quality of life, but also that of your spouse or partner or children. I remember when I was still mowing lawns, and it was before I had tried out Jobber software, I would have, like maybe 15 clients in a day that I would go do. And when I came home, I would have to spend about 30 minutes at the computer creating invoices for each one of them from the work that I had already done. And it was like, 3 or 4 minutes a person. It went quick, but I had to do it for every single one. And when I went to Jobber, that was one of the things I liked the most. Was I was on a plan where I had their mobile app, and as soon as I finished a job, I could just tap complete job and it would process the payment for it automatically. That was the neatest thing in the world to me. I think there's probably something that's going on in your business that you don't like now that software can fix for you. So I hope you give it a try. Reach out with any questions, and we'll see you in the next one.